Hi everybody, welcome back to the Edpuzzle. This is going to be Edpuzzle number 11. So what we're going to do in this Edpuzzle is I'm going to walk you through how to do Y.5. And so we're going to do a couple of examples, pause the video. All these videos are also available on YouTube, and so you could always watch the YouTube video first before you have to answer questions in this Edpuzzle. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you a point, and in some of the questions as you progress through the IXL, it's not going to be given explicitly to you, but the point is there. So what I want to do first is I want to plot the point. Now, to plot the point, you have two numbers in this point. You have the X and then you have the Y. X always goes first. And X lines, they go up and down. So the axis is this right here, but that just is where the number line is at. So that's just where the numbers, but it just has the numbers like 1, 2, 3, but the numbers go like this. This is X. Okay, Y values go like this. So what we're going to do is plot this point. It's 0, 2. So that means the X value is 0 and the Y value is 2. So I'm going to plot the point, and I want you to tell me if you think that it is correct. So if I put the point there, is that correct? That is not correct, because this point is at the X value 2 and the Y value 0. Where the point should be at is you first need to go to the X values. And so this would be X value 1. That would be the line. Here, the first number is 0, so we go to 0 first. And then we go to the number 2, going in this direction, because these are Y values going in this direction. So you go up to the 2. That's where the point goes. So now I need to figure out, it tells me in the problem that my slope is 8. Now, I need to write that slope as a fraction. How do I write 8, a whole number, 8, as a fraction? I write 8 as a fraction by doing 8 over 1. So I'm going to write that on my screen because I have this little fancy Google extension. So that means my slope is really 8 over 1. Anytime you have a whole number, to make a whole number into a fraction, it's going to always be over 1. All right, so it's positive. Because it's positive, I'm going to move up. From that point that I plotted, because it's positive, I move up. If it were negative, I would move down. So if I move, if it's positive, I move. And if it's negative, then I move. Now, the number, the denominator, so there's the top numbers up or down. The bottom number, you always are going to go to the right unless you don't have enough space and you need to go backwards. So this one, you're always going to move to the right. Always, 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 always to the right. So let's plot this point. So it's positive, so that means I go up. So from the 2, I go up 8. So I'm counting 8. That doesn't mean I go to the number 8. That means I count 8, like as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 1 to the right. Even if it were negative, you are still going to the right unless you don't have any space and you need to work backwards. And so that's how I plotted the first point. So how do you feel about that first problem? Let's do a few more, and let's hopefully so that you can do this. This one's kind of the same thing. I'm going to skip a level, and I'm going to clear this. This is a good example. Oops. So for this one, they give you the point, it's 0, 6. So what I would like for you to do is plot the point 0, 6. So where would I put the 0, 6? So I'm going to go to 0 first. The X values go like this. And so here's 0. And then I go to 6. And so this would be 6. I plot the point there. Next, my slope is 1 over 7. So is this positive or negative? It's positive, so that means I'm going to go up 1 because that's the top number. What's my next step? What is the next step? The next step is to move over 7, because that's the bottom number, the denominator, to the right. Always move to the right. So I'm going to count over to 7, and there's 7, and there's my point. I'm going to skip this one. They're all pretty much the same thing until they get to this point. Let me go back to see if there's another example that I can do with y'all. If I refresh it, because see, all the points are like 0, comma number. So I want to get to one where it's a little bit different so everybody understands what they're supposed to do. But that one's the same. Let's do this one. All right, so the point that I plot first is 0, 5. So now you've got all 4 quadrants, which is it's the same thing. Don't be intimidated by that. Now, where would I plot this? Here are your options. A, B, C, or D. Where would I plot this point? So 0, 5, so you go to 0 first. Here's the 0, it says 0 there. Then you go to the 5, so it should be there. Now the slope is negative. Because it's negative, which way do you go? Up or down? Negative means you go down. How many do you go down? That's the top number. Go down 1. How many, and now because it's negative, do you go to the left or do you go to the right? You always go to the right. Even if it's negative, you're going to go to the right. How many do you go to the right? 7, because that's your bottom number. So here we are. We went down 1 over 7. Now let's skip. This is pretty much the same thing. Let me get to where they tell you the y-intercept. So here, that is the point. All y-intercepts go on the y-axis. You're just going to put the point at whatever number it tells you. So if it's at 8, you put it at 8. If you put it at 1, you put the bad one 1. Wherever it tells you, you're going to put it on the y-axis. Okay, so I'm going to put, here's my y-axis. That means it's this line that has like the numbers, and there's a y at the top. So I'm going to put the point at -5. And so my slope, it tells me it's -1 over 8. It tells me right there. So if it's negative, which way do I go? Up or down? I go down. How many do I go down? It's the top number, which is 1. So I go down from that point, from the y-intercept, down 1. How many do I go? Now, because it's negative, do I go to the left or do I go to the right? You always go to the right. How many? 8. So go over 8. And that's what you're doing for all of them. If the y-intercept is 0, then you put it on 0. Just wherever it tells you to go. But remember, where do y-intercepts go? Y-intercepts always go on the y-axis. So make sure that you start y.5 for attendance. And remember that if you finish it by the end of the class period, it's an extra 50 points. So let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, see you later.